Ever noticed how some people can't resist rewatching the same shows and movies over and over again? It's not just a habit, it's a psychological phenomenon. If you've ever found yourself hitting play on that familiar series for the 10th time, or your friend can't stop talking about their favorite movie after a dozen viewings, you're in the right place. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of why people rewatch, and trust me, it's more than just enjoying a good story. There's a comfort, a familiarity, and even a bit of science behind it. So, if you've ever wondered what drives this behavior, stick around. You might just recognize yourself in some of these insights. The comfort of familiarity. We all know that feeling when we reach for the remote, scroll past countless options, and land on the same movie or show we've watched a dozen times before. It's not just about laziness or lack of choice. There's a deep, psychological comfort in familiarity. Our brains crave patterns and predictability. It's why we hum our favorite songs or revisit beloved books. When we rewatch shows and movies, we are engaging with something already processed, understood, and enjoyed. This familiarity reduces cognitive load, making it a comforting escape from the unpredictable world. Take, for instance, the popular show Friends. Many people have watched it so many times they can recite entire episodes. This isn't just nostalgia, it's about the comfort of knowing what's coming next. The jokes, the plot twists, the character developments are all familiar. This predictability can be incredibly comforting, especially during times of stress or uncertainty. It's like wrapping yourself in a cozy blanket. You know exactly how it feels, and that's reassuring. Moreover, familiar content often connects to personal memories. That movie you watched with your family every holiday season or the show you binge-watched during a significant life event. These connections create a sense of emotional security. It's not just about the content itself but the associations it brings. For example, someone might rewatch The Office because it reminds them of a simpler time in their life. The show becomes a portal to those memories, providing comfort and a sense of continuity. Additionally, familiarity breeds a sense of control. In a world full of uncertainties, knowing exactly what will happen next can be empowering. It's a small way to exercise control over our environment. This is why many people turn to comfort foods or familiar routines during stressful times. The same logic applies to rewatching shows and movies. It's a form of self-care, a way to soothe the mind and provide a sense of stability. The escapism factor. Life can be messy, stressful, and downright overwhelming at times. It's no surprise that many people turn to familiar shows and movies as a way to press pause on reality. This is the escapism factor at play. When someone rewatches a favorite series or film, they're not just killing time, they're actively seeking a mental retreat. Consider the comfort of returning to a world where the stakes are high, but the outcomes are known. There's a certain joy in revisiting the witty banter of a beloved sitcom or the epic battles of a fantasy series. It's like slipping into a favorite, well-worn sweater. The familiarity provides a sense of security and control, a stark contrast to the unpredictable nature of everyday life. This is why many people find themselves binge-watching old seasons of their favorite shows when they're feeling stressed or anxious. Moreover, escapism isn't just about avoiding the present, it's also about reconnecting with positive emotions. Studies have shown that nostalgia can have a powerful impact on our mood. Rewatching shows and movies allows people to revisit moments of joy, excitement, and even comfort. For instance, a study published in the journal Appetite found that people often turn to comforting foods when they're feeling down. Similarly, people might turn to comforting media. The familiar plotlines, characters, and settings can evoke strong, positive emotions, providing a much-needed emotional boost. However, it's not just about the feel-good factor. Escapism can also serve a practical purpose. When we are constantly bombarded with information and stimuli, our brains can become overloaded. Taking a break to rewatch a familiar show can give our minds a chance to rest and recharge. It's like hitting the reset button. This is why many people find themselves reaching for the remote after a long, stressful day. It's a way to unwind, to step back from the noise of the world, and to find a moment of peace. Emotional connection and nostalgia. There's something comforting about slipping into a familiar story, like wrapping yourself in an old, favorite blanket. It's not just about the story itself, it's about the feelings it stirs up. People often rewatch shows and movies because they forge a deep emotional connection. This bond is a powerful force. It's like returning to a favorite restaurant not just for the food, but for the memories and the way it makes you feel. For instance, a person might rewatch Friends not just for the humor, but because it reminds them of simpler times, perhaps even evoking memories of watching it with loved ones. Nostalgia plays a significant role in this emotional connection. Studies show that nostalgia can increase feelings of social connectedness and even boost mood. When someone watches a beloved show or movie, they're not just consuming content, they're revisiting a version of themselves. They might recall where they were in life when they first watched it, who they were with, and how they felt. This is why a movie like The Sandlot might hold more emotional weight for someone who watched it during their childhood summers than for someone experiencing it for the first time as an adult. The power of nostalgia is also tied to the brain's chemistry. Nostalgic experiences can trigger the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This chemical rush can make rewatching a favorite show or movie a form of self-care. It's a way to soothe stress and find comfort. For example, many people turn to comforting familiar shows during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's not hard to see why. There's a certain comfort in knowing exactly what will happen next, a sense of control that can be very appealing during uncertain times. Rewatching as a form of self-care. We all know that familiar feeling of comfort when we press play on a well-loved show or movie. It's like wrapping yourself in a cozy blanket on a cold day. For many, this isn't just about nostalgia. It's a deliberate act of self-care. The familiarity provides a sense of safety and control in an often unpredictable world. It's a mental health strategy that's as simple as it is effective. Think about it. When life feels overwhelming, slipping into a known story can be a powerful way to regain a sense of balance. This isn't just a hunch. Research in psychology supports the idea that familiar media can reduce stress and anxiety. Watching something you know well allows your brain to relax. It doesn't have to work as hard to process new information. Instead, you can fully immerse yourself in the story, letting go of everyday worries. It's like a mental vacation. Ever noticed how you feel calmer after watching a favorite show? That's not a coincidence. Your brain is taking a break, and you're giving it the space to reset. Moreover, rewatching can be a way to reconnect with past versions of yourself. That show you loved in college might remind you of simpler times. Or that movie you watched with a loved one who's no longer around can bring comfort. It's a way to hold on to memories and emotions that matter. It's not just about the content, it's about the emotional resonance. This is why people often turn to familiar media during difficult times. It's a way to feel connected to their past and to themselves. Interestingly, this form of self-care can also be a way to avoid more challenging emotions. Sometimes, it's easier to lose yourself in a familiar story than to face difficult feelings. While this can be a useful coping mechanism in the short term, it's important to strike a balance. Rewatching should complement self-care, not replace it entirely. The goal is to use it as a tool to recharge, not to escape. Like any self-care practice, moderation is key. The role of binge-watching culture. You know that feeling when you finish an episode and the next one starts automatically? That's the very essence of binge-watching culture. Streaming platforms, with their autoplay features and vast libraries, have transformed how we consume media. People no longer wait a week for the next episode. They watch the entire season in one go. This culture has significantly influenced why people rewatch the same shows and movies. It's not just about the content anymore. It's about the experience of immersive, uninterrupted viewing. For instance, think about how shows like Stranger Things or The Queen's Gambit became cultural phenomena. Fans didn't just watch them once. They binged them, discussed them online, and then rewatched them to catch details they missed. This behavior is partly driven by the algorithmic recommendations of streaming services. When you finish a show, the platform suggests similar content, creating a loop that encourages rewatching. It's a cycle that's hard to break, especially when you're hooked on a story or characters. Moreover, binge-watching culture has normalized rewatching. It's become a social activity. Friends plan marathon sessions, and online communities analyze every scene, making rewatching a collaborative experience. This sense of community and shared experience is a powerful motivator. It's not just about enjoying the content, it's about being part of a collective conversation. For example, shows like Game of Thrones sparked countless discussions, memes, and theories, making rewatching an essential part of the fan experience. Ever notice how some people can quote every line from their favorite show or movie? They've seen it a dozen times, yet there's still something new to discover. That's the magic of rewatching. It's not just about nostalgia, it's about the comfort of familiarity, the thrill of catching subtle details, and the joy of sharing those moments with others. We've explored why people rewatch, from the emotional comfort it provides to the way it helps us understand ourselves better. It's not just a habit, it's a way to reconnect with feelings and memories that matter. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good laugh or cry on demand? So, next time you find yourself hitting play on that favorite show or movie for the umpteenth time, remember, you're not just rewatching. You're rewiring your brain, reliving cherished moments, and finding comfort in the familiar. And hey, if you're anything like us, you'll be back for more. Speaking of more, we've got plenty of other fascinating topics to explore. So, stay tuned. Who knows what we'll discover next? Until then, keep binge watching and enjoy the ride.